Let's be honest, skincare can feel overwhelming. Serums, acids, moisturizers, SPF, in what order? Can you mix them? If you're using too much or not enough? If you've ever stood in front of the bathroom mirror thinking, am I doing this right? You're not alone. We've helped thousands of women stop guessing and start seeing results by simplifying one thing: how to layer their products correctly. Today, we're cutting through the confusion and giving you a foolproof layering guide so you know exactly what to use, when to use it, and how to get the most out of your routine.
So skincare can be a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions about how we should layer products.
Doesn't matter.
Does it matter if I put this on before this? Is this going to cancel out this? And there are some rules to certain ingredients, of course.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go over some basics for somebody who is really just wondering, like, what is the best way that I put all these on?
Yeah, and I think obviously as you add on the more products,
Yeah.
it gets more confusing because
For
maybe
sure.
you have multiples of one thing, and that
Right.
causes confusion. So let's start off first. What order do we put things on?
Right.
To simplify it to its most simple thing,
Yes.
we're going to go from thin to thick.
Okay.
All your powerhouse serums and things like that are going to be very thin,
Yeah.
so they penetrate easy. And then the thicker things that are going to like lock in moisture,
Right.
and we want them to take a little while to penetrate, those are always going to go on last.
Right.
So it's very easy. We're going to start with serums. Okay, you washed your face, your skin's a little bit damp. Now we're going to put a serum on. Now let's say you get a variety of serums. Maybe
Right.
you have, this one's got alcohol and acid in it, and
Okay.
this one, it's just water and peptides. Well, which goes on first, right?
Correct.
So the first thing that you should always put on would be an acid or an alcohol. And if you have an acid and an alcohol, I generally say put the acid on first, the highest percentage of acid
Okay.
first, like our Serum 15.
Got it.
And then alcohol-based. So the reason you put these on first is they're going to dissipate really quickly.
Got it.
And then just that acid or main ingredient is going to penetrate. And now we want to put our water-based things on. So you could have a variety of these.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter
Okay.
which you put on first.
Okay.
You can mix them together and put them on.
Yeah.
You can do one at a time.
I'm a
It
mixer.
doesn't matter. I like to mix them too.
Yeah.
I don't have all that kind of time.
No.
I just pump of this, couple drops of this, few of this, mix it up, put it on.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people, they really want to
They
do
want
things
it.
in order.
Let's
So-
talk about, should you wait in between layering?
Oh, gosh.
I get that question a lot.
No, you
Okay.
don't need to wait.
Okay.
If you want to wait maybe after those acids or
Okay.
alcohols, if you want to let it dissipate for a second, okay,
Sure.
go ahead. Then put your water-based things on.
Yeah,
But
that makes
there's
sense.
no need to wait. You're putting water on, you're just adding more moisture to your skin. That's not causing the ingredients not to penetrate or anything
Yeah.
like that. There's no need to wait until you feel dry or something in between layers.
Got it.
Just, I say, by the time you get that on,
Yeah.
put that down, grab your next one. We look at 10 seconds or something.
Yeah.
That's a long enough
Okay,
time.
good.
So we've done our acids and alcohols, and then all our water-based serums
Right.
together, singularly, whatever you want. And then you move on to your creams.
Yep.
Now the creams also generally have like active ingredients in them, but they're going to penetrate a little bit more slowly because
Got
it's
it.
thicker. And what most creams also have are moisturizers,
Right.
humectants, maybe some oils,
Right.
things to keep the moisture in your skin. So all those water-based things that you just put on in the water in your skin, now we're trying to trap it in there.
Sealing it in.
So your skin is nice and glowy and dewy and all that kind of stuff. So your creams. And now, not everybody has to put an oil on, of course, but let's say you want to use an oil, like let's say you use emu oil because it's transdermal, helps to push things deeper in your skin.
Yes.
If you're using it for that, you want to put that on top of everything you want to push
Yeah,
into your
yeah.
skin. It's also good for helping water loss again. So oils go on last. So we've got alcohol-based, water-based, creams, oils.
Right.
And really you're done with that. Then you put your SPF on.
Got it.
SPF is its own thing. It's not going to be really penetrating any ingredients. It's there to be a reflectant
Right.
to the sun and protect your skin. And once that's on, at that point, I guess I would give it a little bit of time before I
Right.
went to put my makeup on or something
Sure.
like that. Let's say you finish all your, showerly things. You're all ready to walk out of the bathroom. Now, yeah, go ahead and put your makeup on. I think everything's nice and set.
Yes.
And I think, a lot of times the SPFs are really moisturizing too.
Yeah.
I've noticed that they can actually make a really nice base for makeup.
Sure.
And I don't mean like foundation. I don't put a lot of foundation or anything on, but for anything else that you're putting on, it helps it to like stay on your skin well.
Right.
Gives you more of a glowy feel. Most of them, I think, are like that. The biggest mistake people make is treating their skin the same way year round. Your routines should change based on your skin's needs. That's why we made the Regimen Builder. It customizes everything for you, so you don't have to guess.
All right, let's discuss the AM PM routines. Typical routine.
Right.
What products are important to apply in the morning? What
Yeah.
products are important to apply at night, and why?
Yeah. So obviously, during the day, we know that we're going to be going outside and we're going to be putting on things that are going to protect our skin from damages,
Sure.
like antioxidants.
Yes.
Your antioxidants go on in the morning. So that's where your vitamin C or your resveratrol, green tea, whatever you're using,
Sure.
put that on during the day. And also, obviously, sunblock. So those are like two key things that make this a morning routine. Because other than that, we're still going to apply them in the same order we always do. We're going to go thin to thick.
Yep.
So let's say we're going to start with our favorite cleanser. I'm going to say the anti-aging lactic cleanser because maybe we've got a little bit sensitive skin. So we're going to wash that and rinse that off. And while our skin is still a little bit moist, I would generally say put your Fade Bright on.
Sure.
Right? Fade Bright has a little bit of alcohol in it and it's got some acids in it. So we definitely want it to be one of our first products.
Correct.
So go ahead and put your Fade Bright on. And then after that, we like to use like our water-based serums. Generally, I would recommend something like Regenerate Epidermal Growth Factor or maybe some PDRN.
Our Dr. Platinum potions.
Any of the Dr. Platinum
Yes.
potions. And then after that, now our vitamin C doesn't have any water in it, but you still kind of want to put it on at the same time.
Right.
And because that's an antioxidant, because we're dealing with hyperpigmentation, we want to put that on in our scenario here.
Yes.
And then we're going to pick our moisturizer. So let's say we have sensitive dry skin. So I'm going to pick the DermaSnap 8LM. We're going to put that on.
Got it.
And then we're going to top it off with our sunblock. In this case, I would say like Flawless, which is SPF 50.
Right.
We're going to put that on and we're good for the day.
A little tip with our vitamin C.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned it is a waterless formula,
Oh, yeah.
it is best to just apply a very small pea-size amount.
Half a pea.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. Pump or two of your moisturizer or your hyaluronic acid.
Mix
your-
it with something.
Mix it with something and then apply it to your face. If not, I guarantee you're going to apply too much.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like to mix it with the hyaluronic, or in
Yes.
our case, you could mix it with the Regenerate because that is also has a lot of hyaluronic
Or
in
the
it.
Dr. Platinum potions.
Or the potions, anything.
Those are
but
great.
mixing it with something really does help to get
I-
that to apply and spread further.
Just a little side note.
I agree.
All right, now
All right,
let's
PM.
go over PM. Yeah.
So PM, the differences in PM is now we no longer need the SPF. We don't really need our antioxidants.
Right.
But we do want to focus on real regenerative products. Like we can put our copper on at night.
Yes.
We want to put our retinoids on at night.
Yes.
Retinoids especially because the sun can damage the retinoids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best to put them on at night. So let's say our same routine for somebody that has hyperpigmentation because that's just so common. So nighttime, same thing. You're going to wash your face and you're going to like scrub for like a good 30 seconds. We got to get the SPF off, all those products off,
Right.
and the day's sweat and dirt,
your-
makeup.
Yes, absolutely.
I would wash my skin once, maybe even twice. It depends if you put a lot on, if you use foundations and things.
Yes.
Then you're going to move on to your Fade Bright again.
Right.
Now, you don't always have to do Fade Bright twice a day, 1 to 2 times per day.
Yes.
If your skin is acclimated to it, twice a day is good. So let's say we're going to put that on. And if you have any other serums, let's say you want to use Serum 15 tonight instead of
Your retinoid.
Fusion A.
You could alternate.
You could do, Serum 15.
Yeah.
And then put, any other water-based serums, like your potions again, your Regenerate, I love Regenerate, and then your cream.
Yes.
Now, a lot of times I don't put a cream on. A lot of times I use my Fusion A instead of a cream. So that's up to you. You know, if you feel that you need more hydration, more moisture, you can use your DermaSnap again. You
Sure.
can use whatever you want.
Add a pump of emu oil. Add a pump of essential healing blend.
Whatever you want. You can
Yeah.
use your essential effects.
There you go. Yeah.
Anything you want to use. So our nighttime products, the only things, like I said, is copper. You can use copper during the day, but it's always, I think blue at night and
Yeah.
yellow during the day. So that's one of the common questions is you can't use vitamin C and copper together. Why can't you? Well, there is no hard set rule about this.
Right.
It is just that Dr. Picard, and he's the one that makes copper.
Correct.
He felt that they didn't work well together. And I'm not sure which one he felt damaged the other one.
Right.
Something was canceling something out. So he suggested they be applied at least 8 hours apart.
Yes.
So we put the C on during the day because that's its natural time to go on.
Yes.
Copper, like I said, copper could go on day or night.
Yes.
Because it's blue, I think it's easiest to remember, put it on at night.
Sure.
So that's generally a water-based serum.
Yes.
So you put that on just with your other water-based serums if you're using something like that. And I can't think of anything else that's a specific, oh, this one can't be used with this one or something like that.
Yeah, that's the
Because
two
those are,
major
it's always a big
ones.
question. What
Yeah.
can't I put on
Yeah.
together?
And with
Everything's
the copper
good.
serums, the super and the CP serum, the nice part about those is you can just simply add 2 to 3 drops of those to your moisturizer at night,
Yeah.
mix it together, apply it to your entire face and neck. Now, if you are treating scars or blemishes with the Super Cop 2X, that is a thicker cream.
Yeah.
So that one goes on as your very last product, correct? And you would just kind of spot treat wherever
spot treat as needed.
Yeah.
The only time that I would suggest putting the Super Cop 2X on first is if like you have depressed scars.
Okay.
I almost think of it as like spackle instead.
Filling in those little areas.
I like to fill in
That
the
makes
whole,
sense to start
pat it on
with
there, wipe
first.
anything off, just kind of smooth the surface with that. But that's only
Yeah.
with an atrophic scar like that, where you're trying to fill it in
Yeah.
because it's not a smooth surface to begin with. That's the only time I would ever say to put it on out of order.
Yeah, that makes perfect
Because
sense.
usually it's like a cream and you would put it on later. But yeah, I would say definitely if you're dealing with scarring like that, you would put it on first.
So it doesn't have to be rocket science.
No,
I mean,
you
we're
have to use it
talking
according to your
Thin
particular
to thick
needs.
is
That's
the best
easy.
rule of thumb. C in the morning, retinoids at night.
Yeah, those are the only
coppers at
key
night.
things.
Yeah, and sunscreen in the day.
And if you still have questions, you don't have to figure it out all alone. In our Peel Nation Facebook group, we have skincare experts, experienced peelers, and a whole community ready to help.
Big questions or recurring questions from customers are, they get a little confused about the copper peptides.
Yeah, I can see why.
First generation copper is the GHK. Second generation copper is the Super CP, the CP, Super Cop 2X. They get a little confused about, what you can and cannot use with the GHK products.
Yeah. Okay, so GHK, this is Dr. Picard's original formulation. He had a different company. He patented under that company, and only that company could use it. So this was his very original one.
Right.
And it is wonderful.
Yeah.
It does great things for your skin. It's a little bit fragile. So you cannot put it on with things like acids.
Right.
And acids are things like tretinoin is an acid. That's retinoic acid.
Correct.
You cannot put it on with like serum 15
Right.
or serum 30.
Right.
Fade Bright has a lower percentages. I think it would be okay. I would put something in between the two. But this is his original one. So we generally say we have the 7%, which you could add into lots of different products.
Yes,
And we
yeah.
have the Luxe. We also have the Crepey Skin Escape.
Right.
These we recommend for people that obviously have a little bit more sensitive skin, or they're not using tretinoin or acids.
Right.
They can use this without any issues. It's still good for anti-aging. It is
Yes.
definitely still skin remodeling. But I feel like the second generation is a little bit more geared towards bigger issues.
Right.
Like I feel like this is wonderful, but I think if you're dealing with like intense wrinkles or scarring and
Yes.
things like that, you need to move on to the second generation,
Yes.
which is this. Second generation came about when he left his own company. I think he sold that company off, and they still held the patent to that. So he could no longer use that. He had to create his own. And what he did, because he had a goal in mind, he's like, this one has some issues.
Yeah.
We can't put it on with the acids and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to make it a little bit stronger, a more hardier solution. So this one it's still obviously the copper peptides, but it's a
Yes.
different type of peptide. This is like the copper 2+ ion. It's not the GHK form.
Got it.
So this one can go on with acids.
Right.
It can go on. He made sure this could go on right now. You can put this on at the same time as you
Sure.
put Serum 15 or tretinoin or anything that's strong and irritating. These will hold up. And then he did the CP Serum. Then the Super CP Serum is stronger. And there's actually Super Cop, of which we don't carry. And then the Super Cop 2X is the strongest,
That's
which is
right.
why we just kind of skipped that one. It just was a little redundant.
Yeah.
We're going to start most people with just a couple drops of the CP Serum. And I know everybody always wants to move up. They want to always use the 2X,
Yeah.
but don't.
Yeah.
Don't do this. It's too strong. It's
too
irritating.
strong. It's not a product that you necessarily are going to ever put all over your face unless you are a very, very long time user.
Long time
Yeah,
user of
yeah.
copper, because you have to be careful with copper, because copper does two things. One, it breaks down damaged tissues,
Right.
and then the second, it helps to regenerate
Yes.
new tissues. So if you put this on super aggressively,
Yes.
you are breaking down, breaking down, breaking down, breaking down, and you're not giving your skin that chance to regenerate
Right.
fast enough,
Right.
then you're going to end up looking not as good for a little
Yeah,
while.
Your skin looks a little ruddy looking.
They call it the copper uglies.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a syndrome.
You got to stop.
Yeah.
Stop using it for probably 5-6 days.
Yeah. Your skin will
Give your
revert.
skin a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Which it will. And you'll be looking amazing. And then
Yes.
you'll want to make that same mistake again. But don't. Just a couple of drops.
Yeah.
You don't need to,
Don't be
bathe
aggressive.
in this.
Yeah, don't be over aggressive.
Because this comes in bigger sizes, but I refuse to offer it.
Yeah.
Because I know people will overuse it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use 2 or 3 drops of this. You're not supposed to use them. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
good.
Now let's talk a little bit about color and scent.
Oh, yeah, because this one's dark.
Over time, the color will dissipate, the scent will dissipate.
Yeah,
You wanna
this
touch base
this
on that?
normally starts off, and I don't have a super fresh one here, but you know, if we can like look in the camera, like this is the 2X, and you can see because it's in a cream. Cream is white, so you can see the blue in this. Now this one has been sitting here for a little bit,
A little bit darker.
and I can still see blue, but it's like a blue green.
yeah, almost.
And
it
it's
can even
getting
turn like that
darker,
brownish
darker.
color.
Yeah, this can turn so dark. I've had some in my house. Let's say there's like this much left in the bottle. It's almost black,
Right, right.
and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. This stuff is good for 3 to 5 years.
this-
Doesn't matter
yeah.
what color it is. And then he starts off, he adds a little bit of a scent to it, which is nice. The scent's, it's a nice scent.
It's because copper's not a fabulous smelling
Doesn't
ingredient.
smell great. But after a few months, and I would say maybe 3 months or so, that
Yeah.
scent just kind of whittles away. And then all of a sudden you're smelling the actual product.
Yeah.
And that's when people are like, I think there's something wrong with it. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, that's
not.
what it smells like.
For sure.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
But you know, see, less is more. A couple drops of that mixed in with something else is not going to smell nearly as much as pouring a bunch of this on your face. But yeah, it's okay if it gets dark.
Sure.
It's okay if it smells. It's still good.
Yes.
Still going to work.
Yes, studies have been done where 5 years later, the copper peptides were still active.
Still active. It's a great product, which is
Yeah.
why we've carried it for it's been over 20 years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's been over 20 years. It was one of the first products that I brought on.
And it's a great product. It helps with overall skin tone, texture.
Yeah, so what is it
tightening.
good for? It's good
Yeah.
for, well, of course, it's good for like scars and things. It's amazing for regenerating scar tissues. So you can use it on scars that are 25 years old, 30 years old, 2 years old,
As
6
long as
months
it's
old.
healed and sealed.
Healed and sealed, we're good to go.
Yeah.
It's also super for anti-aging because you think remodeling, all different types of things break down, and it's not just scar tissue that's different. You know, other tissues are breaking down, and it just helps to regenerate new tissues, tightens and firms, and it's a wonderful product to use. So yeah, good for everything, anybody, and you know, it's something that you can definitely add on if you're looking for anti-aging,
Yeah.
and you just want to kick it up a notch. I think that's a great one.
Super simple. A couple of drops, add it to your moisturizer, and it's all done.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing I forgot. Dr. Picard always liked to mix it with like emu oil or top it with
Oh,
emu
yeah,
oil.
yeah.
So I just want to explain a little something. Emu oil is transdermal,
Yes.
right? So if you are trying to push the copper deeper into your skin, you can put the copper on first, put the emo oil on top, it will help to push it in.
Right.
Generally, if you mix the copper and the emo oil together, still it'll penetrate wonderfully. Now, let's say that something is too strong for you or it's irritating for you.
Right.
What he suggested in that case is that you'll go ahead and put like emo oil on your face first.
Okay.
Now we're using it as a barrier. And now put the copper on top. And then the emo will slow down the penetration of copper.
That's
So
interesting.
that's what he said to do for people that were experiencing irritation with this. But start with the CP.
Yes.
Work up to the super CP.
Yeah.
And then maybe one day you might be using the Super Cap 2X on your whole face, but I doubt it.
You could stick with Super CP Serum for a very, very long
Yeah.
time and still reap the amazing benefits.
Unless you have scars
Yeah.
or you're spot treating it,
There
then
you
go
go.
right for the 2X.
Got
Then
it.
I think it's highly recommended.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so just to recap, a quick recap on the layering
Yes.
of the skincare products.
Yep. Thin to thick. Just think thin to thick.
Yes.
Put your serums on first, all your alcohols and acids first, watery serums, creams, oils, SPF. It never changes. Simple.
I love it. Perfect. If you have any questions
Yep.
and you still need some guidance, we realize that it may still be overwhelming, and that's okay.
Yep.
We're here to help. You can phone us at 1-800-917-3155,
Email us.
support@platinumskincare.com.
And you can also visit us in our Platinum Skincare Guru group on Facebook if you're social.
Absolutely. Perfect.
We're here to help.
We're happy to do so.